guys, sorry about that. I had to start a new video because for whatever reason, after about 32 minutes, my phone makes it start over for a new video. I guess I think there's a gigabyte limit per video or whatever reason. But I'm going to be using new recording equipment in short order. So bear with me, guys. It's coming soon. Much needed improvements on the audio and video quality of this channel. So before I go too far off track, before we left off, we were on the Flor de la Antillas, and I know this cigar is very hyped up, and my father's cigars, they're all the rage in the shops these days, and especially a couple of years ago, not as much now. They've kind of cooled off a little bit, but they're still generating quite a few popular cigars. But this cigar, to me, I was disappointed in it. I know a lot of other people were too, but the Flor de la Antillas in particular, I remember just when I bought it, I had it sitting in my humidor for like 4 or 5 months before I actually smoked it. And then when Dr. Joe came out with the episode where he smoked it and reviewed it, he just, I remember both of us were kind of saying the same thing about it. I mean, the thing had this beautiful, chocolatey aroma. I mean, the cigar literally smelled like chocolate. But then when you lit it up, man, it was just extremely one-dimensional. It tasted like I had a fucking leather shoe in my mouth or something. I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but it just, it definitely, I don't understand how it won Cigar of the Year, I'll be completely honest. It was extremely one-dimensional. It just only had that one prominent leather flavor, and it never really evolved or, changed during the entire cigar. And then on top of that, the leaves that they used to, in the blend for this cigar, they're so thick that, I remember the cigar went out like 5 or 6 times in the second half of it. So let me go on to a much better cigar and a much better secret. I don't want to say secret, but Curavari cigars are they're not, I don't want to say they're better than my father's cigars. I prefer them, though, I'll be honest. They're just a very high quality boutique Nicaraguan brand, and their prices are incredible. I mean, this is like their flagship cigar, and I think it retails for under $10. And I want to highly recommend to you, and I recommended this, I believe, in the 10 cigars to try now if you haven't already video, the first video I ever came out with, the Curavari Selection Privada. You can find a box of 10 of those in the Robusto Vitola on cigar.com for about $55. Pick it up. I promise you it is worth it. Fantastic cigars. No gimmicks or bullshit with this brand. They just make great tobacco. Some people don't know about them. They're not one of the most popular brands. Not every shop carries them, but this is a great, what I call an insider cigar. As far as under here goes and everything, I believe there's a Davidoff Nicaragua poking out from under there. If you find those, I know they're very expensive, but they are a fantastic cigar, and they're definitely a different take on Nicaraguan tobacco. So it's a very interesting cigar to, get a guy like Hendrik Kellner, who has been working with, Dominican tobacco for the better part of the last 30 years. When Davidoff moved over from, Cuba in 1991 and they went to the DR, we all know that Dominican and Nicaraguan tobacco are like night and day in terms of, the properties that those, two countries of origin, the leaves display such different characteristics. It's insane. So for them to make a cigar out of purely Nicaraguan tobacco, using tobacco in several different regions, it just blended for an extremely nice cigar. And it's, you think Nicaragua, you think power, you think strength, but this blend is very, very restrained, and it's very, very refined. It's a very, very high class cigar in every respect. It's one of those, Davidoff, some people complain about the price and everything, and they say it ain't worth it, and that's their opinion. They are entitled to that. I am personally of the opinion, though, that the Davidoff Nicaragua is 100% worth the money. So, if you want, check it out, and it's completely different from their Dominican lines. So I promise you won't be disappointed. Let's move onward. Gotta wrap this up. It's like 3:30 in the morning almost. So that's let's see. This is the way I want it to go. Okay. So I got the Hacienda, Guardian of the Farm. Believe that is a cane by Oliva. I believe that's a cane right there. This is a One Shot, One Kill by CLE Cigars. I got this from a rep from CLE at a CLE event at Goodfellas Cigars a number of years ago. I know you can't see it back there. That's a couple of Don Pepin Garcia Cuban Classics. That's AKA the Black Label. This is one of Don Pepin's best cigars, in my opinion, and it's a steal of a price, too. So I highly suggest that you check that out. I think I got these on Cigars International. I think I got 10 for $40. So $4 each for those cigars is incredible. Great value. And this cigar should need no introduction. This is the Tatuaje Black Label. I got a Petite Corona hanging out back there. There's a lot of, I know, again, you can't see the layers on the bottom here. There's a lot of Tatuaje, Oliva, a whole bunch of different brands. My Father, a whole bunch of different of their lines and everything. But pretty much, any regular production Tatuaje is made is probably at the bottom there, and in the layers under that. And by the way, I want to thank the guys who participated in the contest, and those cigars are packaged and getting ready to be mailed out tomorrow. So thank you, Rafi, and the others who participated. There was a gentleman from Britain. I'm going to price it out and see how much it costs. If it's a practical cost, I promise I will send it over to you, friend. So thank you guys again for taking part in that, and hopefully we'll be doing some fun stuff like that in the future. And I don't know why I just went crazy with the laser pointer just now. I apologize for that. So onward, we move to the actual shelving. We're coming up to the top two shelves of the unit right now, and we're getting ready to wrap this bad boy up. So here we go. This is the second from the top shelf, and as you can see, it is a flat shelf. I don't know if you could see from right up here, you could still see that there are slats in these flat shelves that enable humidity to travel. So keep in mind that's something that's very important. And I know that the prefab units, which I will show you a couple of pictures of, they have that as well. I just got these K. Dorsey's, these Rafael Gonzalez, the Hoyos, and the Cohibas. They just came this past Friday from cigar1.com. They will be my next vendor review. I know I've talked about them before and I've used them before, but I want to say right now that Cigar One right now, they killed it, man. Beautiful, beautiful cigars that they sent me, and the shipping time is out of this world. I mean, it was a week from the day that I ordered them to the day they wound up in my parcel locker in front of my apartment complex. Okay, they shipped them out last Monday, and they were in my parcel locker in front of my apartment building on Friday. So I mean, you can't beat that. You know, I Havanas took me almost a month to get my cigars. Finest Cuban Cigars, the last order took about 18 days, and I Havanas, if I understand, isn't even doing tracking with their shipping anymore. So that's just something to keep in mind. And again, I'm not bashing I Havanas, but I want to say real quick that I'm going to talk about this more in the vendor unboxing and review. But Cigar One, some people have commented how they're a little pricier than the competition. But I will say in this case, you get what you pay for with Cigar One. I have never gotten anything less than the highest quality Cuban cigars that you could purchase from Cigar One. Every cigar I've ever smoked from Cigar One has been delicious, and they are a fantastic addition to a repertoire of sources. So keep that in mind. But you can see here I have a fair amount of boxes here. I have a 10 box of Curavari Selection Privada in the back. I have the 10 punch from I Havanas that you saw in the review a while back. And when I do the vendor review on Cigar One next video, which will hopefully be coming the next day or so, I will be showing you guys how to do an authenticity check on a box of cigars on Habanos SA's website. All right. So with the K Dorsey number 50s right there, by the way. These are Rafael Gonzalez Perlas, Hoyo de Monterrey Epicure number 1, and Cohiba Siglo 5 Tubos. And the Hoyos are also Tubos. These K Dorseys I'm really looking forward to trying. I've never had anything from that brand before. K Dorsey is a formerly regional Habanos cigar meant for the French market specifically. Obviously, you can get them other places than France, but in, I believe, late 2017, the cigar was reblended and re-released with newer, more ornate bands in the vein of the Upman Connoisseur series. And the new K Dorsey blend is really attracting a lot of attention. They're very talked about right now, very popular cigar, especially the 54 Vitola. But the 54, these are 50s right here. I prefer smaller Vitola cigars. I rarely go above a 50 or a 52 ring gauge in cigars. I know I've said that before, but it's just what I prefer. I'm a very slow smoker. It could take me an hour or better to go through a Petit Corona. So, these fatter ring gauge cigars and the larger cigars that come in a double Corona or a Churchill size, they just, it's not something I would typically go for. I'm not saying I don't smoke them at all, but, unless I'm at a lounge, most of the time if I'm smoking at home or in the car or something, I don't want something that's going to last more than an hour and a half. So here we go to the top shelf, and up here you can see these are the Partagas D4s that I showed you in the I Havanas video a while back. These are some more obscure Illusiones. These are Cuchillos Cubanos. They're not bad little cigars. I really like the artwork. I love Illusione. I love the concepts that Dion Giolito comes up with, and most of all, I love his taste in tobacco. And you guys that have been listening to this channel for a while, you guys know that I am obsessed with all things Aganorsa, and Illusione is one of Aganorsa's crowning achievements, in my opinion. And also keep an eye out for Warped Cigars and Casa Fernandez. I've been talking about Casa Fernandez for years. They're starting to really blow up and get more popular, and I'm really happy to see that because they have been criminally underrated. And if you're a fan of Illusione, Viaje, Warped, then I highly recommend that you check out Casa Fernandez because they are the house brand of Aganorsa. And also a little interesting fact about Aganorsa is that Don Pepin Garcia had originally partnered with Aganorsa, and he was using their tobacco in his blends for many years, up until about, I want to say 2008, they had a falling out over some business. So that's something to keep in mind. If Pepin was using their tobacco, it's great. But on here in the bottom is a more obscure cigar. This was a gift from a female friend a while back. I think she got this from a family member or something. I've never tried one. I'm not really in a rush to try one, I'll be completely honest. This is Flor de Nicaragua. A female friend of mine was in Canada and came back with these, and I don't know why she got Nicaraguan cigars in Canada, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth or be ungrateful. So, yeah, that's just about it. Okay, and that was the email from Dr. Joe there. I'm going to remove that from the Chromecast real quick, and I'm going to read off the email to you guys real quick, just because I promised it to you guys, and some people were asking about it. So this is an interaction that took place between Dr. Joe and my ex-girlfriend Nicole. I'm going to start with my ex-girlfriend Nicole. She contacted Dr. Joe, all right? And she said, "Hey, my name is Nicole. My boyfriend always watches your YouTube shows, and I think you guys have spoken through emails a few times. Anyway, his birthday is in October, and I wanted to get him a wine cooler and make it a humidor. Have you done this before? And advice, recommendations on sizes and/or companies who make shelving specifically for this. I'd like to have everything purchased and get set up so when he gets it, he can use it. All right." So let me go to Dr. Joe's reply. And this is just a testament to what kind of guy Joe is. Somebody that he doesn't even know is contacting him, asking about a Wineador. And, he's seeing that, a girl wants to surprise her man with a gift. And the effort he went through is just, wow, he was just the man. There's just nothing else to say about that. But here we go. Without further ado, Nicole, what a fantastic idea. I know exactly what you need and how to go about it. For the wine cooler cabinet units, you have to choose a model based on two things. One was the fact that it must be thermoelectric. The second is the guy who builds the drawers and shelves builds them for specific models. You must choose a unit to which the guy can match the drawers. He's talking about Forrest from Wineadors.com, by the way, because like I had said earlier in part one, the prefabbed Wineadors weren't really a thing back then. All right? So the best units to use, according to everyone in the cigar community and based on my own opinion, are from New Air. So Dr. Joe is saying he recommended New Air. I don't know if he ever tried the other brands, but his recommendation, if that's important to you, was New Air. You can go to newair.com for info, but places like Best Buy sell them online. They run around $250 for the appropriate model, which is, I believe, what was paid for mine. You are going to want the New Air model AW280E or AS281E. They're both around the same size. The difference is the 280 is all black, the 281 is stainless steel. The stainless is about $20 more. However, I go with the black because if it's not in the kitchen, the stainless just looks quote-unquote off. Black melds in better, which is what I was saying before. I agree with Joe completely on that. Both have interior lighting and digital control panels. I find the lighting to be useless in the Wineador. It's a very faint blue light, and I'm sorry I didn't plug it in, but it doesn't even, like I said, the thermostat doesn't even work, so I didn't even bother. So both have interior lighting and digital control panels. Both are thermoelectric, which is important. You have to have a thermoelectric cooler. Most important, the guy who builds the Spanish cedar shelves does them for this specific model. His name is Forrest, and his site is wineadors.com. Now, he offers several 15th options, so he's exaggerating about how many options he offers. And if you go on wineadors.com, he offers a ton of different stuff. Trust me, you will be able to customize it any way you want if that's the route you choose to go. So you got to ask it, like I said in the video, you got to ask yourself, do you have mostly boxes or single cigars? Drawers are good for singles, shelves are good for boxes. A great way to do it is to get a few of each. I agree. The cooler can hold 6. You may also want to get the larger drawer with the false bottom for the bottom of the cooler, which is exactly what you saw in my model. I would highly recommend that you listen and do that. It still has a drawer, it's just the face extends down for an extra slot to hide the area where the beads go. This one lets you hide the beads, which are used for humidity. We'll get to that. Personally, I use the drawer plus one on top of that. The rest I use are shelves. For just that, it would run between $100 and $200, depending on other options. You can have the drawers with fancy wood faces, handles, extra holes, etc. Personally, I think the drawers look great as is, just natural cedar with carved out handle spaces, which I agree, and that's what you saw in my Wineador. I do get the extra holes drilled in the sides and the bottom of the drawers. It costs a little more, but allows humidity to travel easier, which is good for the cigars, especially singles at the bottom of the drawers. I can't emphasize that enough, and I've never had problems with mold or anything else in my Wineador because I believe because of those holes at the bottom, they allow the cigars to breathe very well. It costs a little more, but allows the humidity to travel easier, which is good for the cigars, especially the singles at the bottom of the drawers. Just know that the more options you choose, the longer it takes, and it can take a while. He's backed up. I would order the drawers ASAP. The only other thing you need is humidity beads. Heartfelt is excellent. He gives a link for Heartfelt's website. You'll want to order 2 pounds of the beads. You also need 2 of the nylon drawstring bags in the same section. These hold 1 pound each. The beads go in the bags, and the bags go in a plastic tray at the bottom of the humidor. You need distilled water to load the beads. You can get it at any pharmacy by the gallon, but it must be distilled. If you want to set it up and have it in running condition, email me back. I'll help you with that. On the same site, order a couple of digital hygrometers, which I said a few times. You'll also need to get readings of the humidity and the temperature. People mount them to the front of the drawer. I personally like to have them in the drawers because if I feel like cigars in a certain shelf are feeling drier, I like to be able to move them onto that particular drawer or shelf. A lot of the digital hygrometers, they come with little sticky backs that you could stick them onto the drawer. It's up to you, really. It's a matter of personal preference. Okay. Okay, so that's about it. Once you have everything, you'll need to plug the drain hole in the Wineador. This is very important. If you don't, the seal won't be as good. You need to seal it with epoxy or something of that nature. I think I use silicone on mine. It's a little hole in the back. You'll see it. It's right in the towards the bottom, in the middle, on the back of the unit. And I would imagine that the prefabbed units, I would imagine that they're already plugged, but that would be something I would double check if that's the route you choose to go. But, a little dab of silicone or epoxy does just fine. And, if you don't think that is enough, then maybe, put a piece of duct tape or electrical tape over it. Okay? So you'll need to seal it with epoxy or something of that nature. If you let them know, seal the plug. I'm trying to cut out the fat here because he's explaining it in a way that, he's trying to make it easier for somebody who's not familiar with cigar terminology and stuff to be able to do this. So that's just the patience that this man showed. And if you guys really want, I'm going to, if anybody wants to see a copy of the actual email for their own purposes, then just email me at cigarsalute@gmail.com, and I'll edit out my ex's email address, and I'll send you the email. So, okay. So, he's just talking about seasoning and everything I went over at in part 1, and that's that's about it from what as far as what Joe contributed to the construction of my Wineador, and I'm very grateful that he and my ex were able to do that for me. And like I said, that Joe was still unsure about whether he wanted to go with heartfelt beads or go with Bovedas, because I had spoken to him since that correspondence between he and my ex. But after he had constructed the Wineador, he, I believe, switched to Boveda at one point. I could be mistaken on that, but at the time that he wrote that email, he was obviously inclined to use the heartfelt beads, which, like I said, I use Boveda. I've never had any problems, and it's always been good to me. So, that's just something to think about. I like Boveda because it's no mess, no fuss. It's just set it and forget it, baby. So right now, what I just had an image of up, and I'm just going to bring back right now. This is a prefabricated Wineador I found online, and this is from Home Depot's website, okay? And this is a 400 count cigar cooler. Obviously, there's a thermostat on it. You can see this is a temperature controlled unit. You can see it's a mixture of drawers and shelves. So if you are a guy who has some boxes but has not too many singles, but enough where you would want a drawer or two, this is a good option. All right. I believe that the price was on one of these. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is with drawers open, as you can see. And, there was something funny I saw on one of these. Let's see. But you can see that the shelves and everything on the prefabricated unit, they have the slats and everything. And this is a New Air, by the way, guys. So this is the same exact company that I used in my wine chiller, so in my Wineador. So just keep that in mind, and keep in mind what I said about the thermostat blowing out after a couple of years. All right. So that's just something to remember. But also remember that Dr. Joe recommended New Air in that email as well. So just take that for what it's worth, and you may want to ask other people, and you may want to go on Amazon or wherever and read reviews and see what people are saying about the units. I have some of that here, but you can see right here, this is the same unit, I believe. This is going for $360. All right, now that is a substantial reduction in what I spent to construct my Wineador. So just keep that in mind. That this is why it took me so long to make the video, because I had to sit there and wonder, is the juice even worth the squeeze? And I'll tell you right now that while I personally have no, buyer's remorse or regrets about the unit I have, if you would ask me about what I would do again tomorrow if I was going to get another Wineador, I would be already waiting for this to come in the mail. Not this particular arrangement of drawers. I need more drawers than this, and less shelves, unless I was buying something strictly for boxes. Then I would get something with all shelving. But the price here, it's by the same company. It's the same thing, really. So that's just something to think about. If you're not a stickler for accessories and whatnot, this could be a much better option for you, and it's quicker too. So this is I thought this was kind of funny. All right, so the price got cut off, but this is a different company. This is by Winter, this Wineador, okay, and this is, you can see right here, I think there's a box of fake Cohibas up top. Like, look at the sticker arrangement. There's 2 DOPs on there. There's one there and there's one there. And then there's the half the government seal. It looks like the slide lid top on the slide lid box is backwards, but even so, why is there 2 DOPs on this box? So whoever took this picture, I think they got fake Cubans. Sorry. So, like I said again, look, you can see a built-in hygrometer, which I wouldn't even trust that to begin with, but just the fact that it's there, $370. And again, all Spanish cedar shelving. So here we got some reviews of this Winter unit here, and I'm going to wrap this up before I get hit with another, I have to make a part 4. I really don't want to do that, but, alright, so here's, let's see, this guy gave it 4 stars down here, and he writes, the pros, the unit itself is very attractive. Stainless steel black walls and glass doors sends the impression of very high-end humidor. Construction seems very, very solid. The door closes nicely. Cons, as most others have commented, the hygrometers are worthless. Try calibrating one, yada, 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 yada. That's all he really has to... Oh, and the door has to open fully to be able to pull the shelves out. So you need space surrounding the unit. All right? So that's just something to keep in mind. That's going to be the case with any Wineador that you set up. So here's another picture of the unit the same one that was I just read the review for. You can see the front of it. Looks very similar to the setup I have. As you can see, there's more drawers there. This would be a good option for somebody like me who's a singles guy. Just keep in mind that, I have never used anything by Winter, so I can't speak as to the durability and quality of the unit, but it seems to look and function just fine. And I think we're going to wrap it up. It's 3:45 a.m. I have to be up at 6:30. I hope this video has been helpful, and thank you very much for your patience and your support. And let me know what you guys thought of my little projector presentation. Was it helpful? Is it something you'd like to see more of in the future? Let me know. Obviously, I know I need some upgrades as far as recording equipment goes, but again, let me know what you thought of this projector, and I'll be getting more accessories for it if you guys were feeling it. And hopefully we'll continue to make this channel better and more enjoyable, and hopefully I'll be able to serve you guys better with this stuff. All right? Thank you so much for your support. Add me on Instagram, cigar_salute. Email me, cigarsalute@gmail.com. Peace out. God bless.